Hey, this is Mike. So we talked so much about The Wizard last week that we are doing it again. This is the conclusion to our Wizard episode.
Oh, actually, one of my favorite things about this movie that I'm not even being sarcastic about is the sets. I really like the set where all the places the kids spend the night. I like the part where they spend the night in an abandoned tractor trailer. Like I watched the riff tracks for this, and they said, Optimus Prime's bed and breakfast. And
That is pretty cool, actually.
yeah,
There's a
and
lot of cool
and
stuff.
when they spend the night in, I can't tell if it's an abandoned or not because during the day they all look abandoned. Drive-through or no, not drive-through, drive-in movie theater.
Yeah,
Yeah, those don't even. I don't know if those even exist anywhere anymore. Kind of miss them.
I do think one of the fun things about this kind of genre of film, by which I mean uh, desert journey movies, like whenever you see movies of people kind of traveling through the American Southwest, and just how much of it is living in this kind of these sort of marginal, not living, but like seeing these sort of marginal places, junkyards and abandoned towns, ghost towns, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
that's so there's a lot of fun set dressing in this film with that. Um, now, but speaking of phone calls, they all make another phone call to help them win the Nintendo contest because I guess it's the Nintendo helpline.
Yeah, it's the yeah. I called these people as a kid. They were in fact very helpful and patient. So no shade on the Nintendo game counselors. They were pretty cool. But
Yeah,
but it looks like Haley is talking to them for hours and hours. And it's like that's just like it's like $5 a minute. Come on, you're calling
yeah.
Seattle.
She's calling up and she's like, "Yeah, can you give me the tips and tricks for like 98 different games
Yeah,
because I have an autistic friend who needs to learn them all in 2 days.
yeah.
So
Okay,
uh,
well we'll start with Abadox,
um,
all the way down
yeah.
to
So that
Xerxes.
I did think somehow something about this just made me think like call up. It just felt like the tips they're gonna give her like kind of like Skip Rogers World Video Game Champion tips.
Okay, well about that fourth level, yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that's all I got here.
Yeah, watch out.
Oh, also
um,
at the point when when they meet the Hell's Angels, she says, "So I got these Power magazines." Now it's clearly Nintendo Power, but I feel like they did a find and remove on the word Nintendo from the script,
oh yeah, I think so.
which is weird because when you went to the movie, they actually gave you a free sample issue of Nintendo Power.
It's funny that they were like trying to hide that this was just a big advertisement because I guess that was kind of gauche in those days. Like nowadays, it's like no one cares.
Yeah,
Like
because I
nowadays, it's
mean,
like
Mac and
yeah,
Me was a big commercial for McDonald's and also Coke. Meanwhile, The Wizard is a big commercial for Nintendo, but also Hostess and also Universal Studios.
oh, that's right, because the big World Video Game Championship takes place at Universal Studios,
Yes.
which yeah, what a wild place that is.
Wow. I
Apparently,
mean, let me tell you, the one thing, even when I was a kid at 9 years old, I absolutely howled that the first thing we see happen at Universal Studios is a little kid launch himself into a mascot suit's hug and yell, "Andy Panda!" Like, what kid has ever cared about Andy Panda?
let me say that like even if you were a kid living in the 1950s,
You
you
would
would not
not
care about Andy
you would not
Panda.
be excited for Andy Panda. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Andy Panda has always been a seventh string character. I'm not
Yeah.
sorry. I
No,
mean,
no, you're
I
absolutely
would be
correct.
I would be more likely to, excitedly hug the walrus that Woody Woodpecker was always hassling.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I think
He just wanted to
what
have a
I
barbecue. I felt so sorry for him.
I think that Andy Panda is like one of those characters. Like, he is like the Woody Woodpecker universe equivalent of like
Porky Pig?
no,
Or
no, 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 not Porky Pig. I'm trying to think
um
like
Augie Doggy?
Yeah, I'll say Augie Doggy. He's basically exists so that if Woody Woodpecker ever does like a Woody Woodpecker's treasure hunt where he flies around in like an ark and he needs to get like like 3 dozen friends that you need to like put in this so that the public will remember them for copyright purposes. Like that's what Andy Panda would be there, but like he's or if there was a Woody Woodpecker like Laugh Olympics, right? But like he's not someone that anyone gives a shit about. It's like, oh yeah, like he's like I said, Augie Doggy level fame, or
Yeah.
Yacky Doodle, or Wally Gator,
Right.
real eighth string shit.
Who would
But I
be in
guess
Who would be in Woody Woodpecker's treasure hunt? Let's see. Woody, Knothead and Splinter, the Walrus. I forget his name. Probably
I think it was,
Wally. Almost. I think.
yeah,
I think
I think
there.
so.
There's. I think they passed a law saying walruses have to be named Wally.
Yeah, yeah,
Andy Panda, Papa Panda, and Chili Willy.
yes.
And I think there's like a dog that hassles Chili Willy, but I'm not sure.
There is. I don't remember his name. I think he may just not have a name similar to Barnyard Dog. He's just,
Yeah.
there's Buzz Buzzard.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Man,
Um,
man,
there's
all these beloved Walter Lantz characters that nobody can name.
yeah.
Walter
There's
Lantz! No account, son of a bus driver.
wait. There's also oh god. There's a woman. There's like a woman that like Woody Woodpecker's always fighting against. She's
Woman?
got like yeah, like this old lady. Not
Huh.
super old. She's kind of old. I see her all the cartoons. I can't remember if she's ever named, but like, but oh, and there's another Woody Woodpecker character, but I've never actually seen him in a cartoon. I've never seen him in anything except for a single coloring book.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, because when I was a kid, we had a coloring book which taught you how to draw the Woody Woodpecker characters.
Oh.
The circle, the you draw a circle, now draw the rest of Woody Woodpecker, like that style. And it mentioned, because it taught you how to draw Woody Woodpecker and Buzz and uh, Andy Panda. And there's another character named Homer Pigeon.
I've heard that
And
name. Homer Pigeon?
yeah, and he basically was like, and he's an anthropomorphic homing pigeon, I guess, and he was the same kind of proportions as like Woody Woodpecker, and he dressed in kind of like this weird turn of the century look. He had like a bow tie and a high collar,
Oh,
and
yeah, it
like
looks
one
like
of those.
Pinocchio.
Yeah, yeah. I only remember him from this coloring book. I've never seen him in anything else, and I have forgotten all about him until this very moment.
It
But
seems
um,
like, okay, it appears that he was in 3 cartoons: Pigeon Patrol, Swing Your Partner, and Pigeon Hold. And then he appeared on the Woody Woodpecker Show in an episode called Spookananny.
so it sounds like he is the Woody Woodpecker equivalent of Clara Cluck.
Yeah,
Uh,
someone they didn't like and killed off.
yeah. But I guess they needed to like fill out that coloring book, so they stuck him back in there. But yeah, so Andy Panda is at Universal Studios, and boy, yeah, that kid is really excited about him.
Man, he
Uh,
is just so. Man, Andy Panda, I cannot wait to get into your arms. I want to crawl into your pores.
now I was like, when I saw this, I was like, I didn't know that Universal Studios owned the Walter Lantz canon, but
Yeah,
I
at
guess they
that
did.
point, it was like all they owned.
I guess so, because Andy Panda. They also apparently have Dracula hanging out at Universal Studios.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, the Universal Monsters, as they say.
yeah, and of course because it's Universal Studios, we do get to see them all go on the Universal Studios tour, and they see King Kong, which is the one thing everyone knows you see at the Universal Studios tour.
Yep.
I do like that, like when they're kind of fighting, because the bounty hunter is chasing them on the trolley, and then like Bo Bridges is chasing. They're all fighting, and they're gonna fall on top of King Kong, and the tour guide is like, "Please stop, just have fun." Which I was very amused by that.
And he's
Oh,
talking about some kind of. He's talking about some movie that Pee Wee Herman and Zsa Zsa Gabor are going to make.
oh yeah, yeah. I assume they just were making a joke there.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually were in a movie together. Um, But I just forgot. I just realized we forgot something incredibly important in this
We
movie.
did. We did. In fact, we have completely skipped over the other protagonist or antagonist,
Yes. That, Lucas.
Lucas. Yes, not the grimacing duck from the chili powder that kids throw right on their tongues.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yep.
Wow, I did not know about that. Um, no, he's not that Lucas, and he's not the Lucas from Lucas either. He's not the Lucas from LucasArts.
Nope.
He's a very cool kid. He's so cool. He's real good at video games. He's the best video game player in Needles, California, wherever the fuck he lives. I
Yeah, I
don't
have no
know.
idea where they are, but yeah, he is. He's this godlike video game player, and he has all 97.
Yeah, and well, yeah, because they beat some kid, they beat someone in like video games in the diner, and some kid is like, he's not as good as Lucas. No one's as good as Lucas. So of course they challenge Lucas, and Lucas is pretty like the real deal because when he first meet him, he's wearing sunglasses, which he takes off very nonchalantly. And
Yeah.
it's like that is one cool 1989 guy. And he's got all 98 games, but he's also got something else.
Oh yes, in its own custom fitted Halliburton suitcase, even.
Yeah, like it's a nuclear football or something.
Can you believe? Can you believe that Trump left the restaurant and they just left the Power Glove sitting right there? What if somebody had gotten it?
Well, someone did. That
It was
kid.
Lucas.
It was Lucas. But yeah, and the Power Glove is so new that Corey and Haley and Jimmy don't even know what it is. They've never seen anything like this.
Of
Um,
course, by this time I'd tried the Power Glove because anyone who bought the Power Glove was immediately like, "Hey, you got to try this. It sucks."
well, that might be why this Power Glove appears in the movie and really has no bearing on anything.
It has no bearing
Um,
on anything, especially because what it does. What happens is Lucas demonstrates how he can play Rad Racer by simply by twisting the Power Glove as if it were a steering wheel, and you're like, "Oh wow, does that mean that you can do that with all games?" And it's like, "Well, okay, wait, how does that apply if I want to play, say, Super Mario Brothers? Do I make my fingers walk to make him run? How does this even work?"
how do you play other games with the Power Glove?
You kind of don't. It really didn't have a lot of games. It was you could actually use it with. There were all of 2 or 3 games released specifically for the Power Glove, and the one that was specifically designed for the Power Glove didn't come out until the Power Glove had ceased production.
Oops.
Yeah, Super Glove Ball, which was it was basically like Arkanoid, except you were using your glove to throw the ball back and forth at blocks. It
Cool.
worked okay, but and of course Nintendo still believed in this since they made it work a lot better 20 years later when they brought out the Wii.
Mm. Yeah, they were. Well, it just took a little bit of tweaking. 20
Yeah.
years of tweaking, but they got it right
Yes.
finally.
Of course, and it should be noted that Nintendo did not make the Power Glove. That was a Mattel product.
Oh, well, no wonder it sucked. Well, the Power Glove, I guess it does spook Jimmy because he just gives
Yeah, he
up.
just gives up. He runs away. Yeah.
Yeah. And they have to talk him down, and then they're like, well, but, turns out, I guess he's jealous of Corey being hot for Haley or something, I think is what they
I
have
could not
final
fathom
thought.
what was happening here. I felt like a couple of pages got lost in the mix somewhere.
Yeah, it was very much like, look, it's the third act. We need some sort of there's some sort of plot point that Kick the Cat mentions that we're trying to have happen here.
Yes,
That's
the
not.
the false defeat.
Yeah, and it's not quite gelling because it's not really clear. It's like, wait, is they seem to imply that Jimmy is I think Jimmy is jealous that Haley Corey is showing attention to Haley because it's trying to show that like Jimmy thinks so much of Corey or something. I don't really know. It's not really important
I
because
don't know.
we just move on. It doesn't matter. We're going to the World Video Game
Yeah.
Championship.
Yeah, either
And
way, he does actually give a long sentence speech, which is, Corey, I don't want to quit.
oh,
So,
that's right. Yes.
I
Um,
mean, ostensibly, the point of the video game championship is to demonstrate that, that Jimmy is not an empty shell. He does have his own will, and he doesn't need to be in a home. Which I
yeah.
feel they could, but I mean, I guess he could just say so, but maybe he can't. But he was able
I
to say, Corey, I don't want to quit.
yeah, like Jimmy actually seems to be much more capable of communication than the movie thinks because he does speak multiple times through the movie. He communicates in
Yeah, he doesn't just
words.
say California, and there is that kind of cute sequence where they're riding in a pickup truck with some other hitchhikers who were like Pueblo Indians or something, and one of them greets him with an Indian word, and Jimmy just pipes up with "Hi." So
Yeah, so I really
one thing
feel
that's
like
actually funny is that the guy who greets him, we saw him drop Jimmy and Corey off in an earlier town.
oh really? They just had the same actor?
Yeah, they just had the same actor, same hat.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I guess they were like, well, he's on set. Why not? But yeah, the thing is, really because it really feels like watching this movie. Like Jimmy's parents are really not making any effort at all to understand Jimmy's problem because they're he doesn't communicate. Yes, he does. Are you not? Maybe you're not listening. Um,
Yep.
but anyway, they get to the World Video Game Championship at Universal Studios in sunny Hollywood, California,
Yep.
and okay. First of all, I want to say my favorite character in the entire film is this dude who signs them up at the table.
The guy who says, "Right now they are playing Ninja Gaiden." Hi.
Yes, that guy. That guy's having so much fun. You know?
He knew the assignment.
Yeah. Like I actually thought it was interesting because like I feel like this is the okay. I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna contradict myself now. This is the sole moment in the movie that is absolutely 100% drawn from reality because I feel like if you are signing up like to be a children's video game tournament, that's the sort of guy that would be signing you up, like a
Yes.
guy who's just kind of goofy and like go on, like and just kind of having fun with it. But I feel like you rarely see that in a movie. Like usually the guy doing that scene in a movie would be like, very very like a kind of a pencil pusher, kind of like yes, go on. Like, but they really let it, they really had this type of character that you meet in real life, but very rarely in film. And I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
So that guy is they're playing Ninja Gaiden. Go 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 now! You're late. He's really like um, he's having a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's nice that it really seems like he's rooting for them,
He
even
really
though
does.
they just showed up. It was just like hey, I always stick up for the underdog. Go, go, go.
Yeah, he really seems invested. We only get that one scene with him, although the host of the World Video Game Championship is kind of a similar mold of guy.
Yeah, I like him. He's got a lot of, he knows that, his job is just to keep the hype up.
Yeah,
So he comes up, he's introducing people. He one girl, as he's introducing her, he kind of flails her pigtails for her.
Yeah, like I thought he was really kind of a fascinating guy because he's not like I don't know how to describe him because he is very like a kid show host, and
Yes.
he's like very animated. There's a lot of he's getting the hype up. There's a certain undercurrent of almost sleaze with this guy.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, like kid friendly sleaze, but like he's not like when he's flailing with her pigtails. I didn't get the impression like oh yeah he's groping her or anything.
No, he's not. It wasn't him being a creep. It was him, being a brown noser. That's a little
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, it's just he's just a very it's an interesting character, I think, and I feel like he's kind of he adds a yeah. There's a certain like uh, movies from this old period. I feel like there is a certain kind of like grittiness that you don't get in a lot of modern kid stuff, and characters like this kind of help to bring that out because he's definitely feels like. Um, yeah, I don't know. He's fascinating, and he's definitely one of a show stealer.
Yeah, I mean, and he should be because the lead actor doesn't get to do anything. He's just standing up, staring at the game as the rest of the kids are playing Ninja Gaiden. Well, you can tell
Yeah.
that this was a official Nintendo product because everyone's pronouncing the names right. Nobody says Ninja Gaiden like they used to.
Yeah. They I do like this whole World Video Game Championship feels kind of like we're watching an episode of Double Dare or
It
something.
does.
They're gonna have kids clapping for the judge o meter to pick the winner or something, I guess. But yeah, it's but I guess like they have
My
everyone
little
playing
brother
this.
got his twin sister killed. I'm taking her to kids' court. Him.
They do uh so the way everyone gets a number and they all play video games and they get eliminated, I guess.
Yes.
And then the final round is it's only three. So it's Lucas, of course. It's Jimmy, and then some girl.
This girl named
So
Mora, yeah, who is the Rift Tracks version. When she first appeared, they were like, "Hey, it's Weird Al."
um, huh.
A
That's
little.
I mean, yeah, that wouldn't be the first celebrity to come to my mind, but
She has big square glasses and double pigtails. So
I mean, I think they were like the filmmakers were like, look, what kind of girl would play video games? A real nerd. So
yep,
we get Mora
best kind.
Gora or whatever her name is. I don't know if it's
Mora, yeah.
but yeah. Well, you would know. You got a nerd video game girlfriend.
So do you.
Oh yeah.
Well,
That's
technically, you
right.
have a nerd video game wife.
That's right. That's a totally different thing, I guess.
Speaking of which, okay, when you watch your wife play video games, where are her hands?
In her I don't know. I guess they're like
Does she
God.
have them in her lap?
I don't think so. I think she. No
Or does
way.
she
Maybe
she
she
hold,
does.
she hold them kind of at navel level, or
I think
near
she.
at the chest, or
I think she holds them probably in her lap. I think.
okay? Because I've noticed all through this movie that when people have video game controllers, which they don't often because a lot of the time they're playing in an arcade, but when they have controllers, everyone who's playing a video game, including Christian Slater and Bo Bridges, who have brought the Nintendo along and are playing in their hotel room at one point, they play with the controller like right up to their nose. And
Yeah.
so they can see the buttons as they play, and they're pushing buttons frantically and waggling the controller around to really play up the idea that they're playing this game. And what's funny about that is that after 3 or 4 times that we see that happen, then we see Spanky driving his truck, and he is driving the way other people play video games. He has got the steering wheel, and he is waggling it back and forth spastically, as if the steering wheel was what propelled the truck, like a roller racer.
I'm so glad you noticed that because I was thinking the same thing. That was another one of those things where I was like, another one of those small details where I was like, that's not how you drive a truck. That's not how it works. That's not how anything works.
In
Yeah,
many
yeah.
ways, what I like about this movie is that it feels like kids made it.
Mm, yeah. Well, yeah. There's a lot. I see what you're saying. There's a lot of that. Just like where it's like when the tow truck the bounty hunter pays the tow truck driver to steal their car.
Yeah.
And within 5 minutes, he's completely stripped it down.
Yeah.
It's like, well, and and
And
he's
then
just
when
like,
they're driving home, the truck has been rebuilt,
oh
completely
yeah,
reassembled, including the little scrappy tree that was in the back because they're a landscaper truck.
Oh, I was wondering why they had that tree the whole time.
Yeah, because Jimmy leaves wearing that landscaping hat, and then Beau Bridges recognizes the bully who stole it from him. He's like, "Where'd you get that hat?" He's like, "I took it from some freak."
That's right. Okay, that makes sense. I missed that detail because I'm stupid. But yeah. So they anyway the World
That's
Video Game Championship.
Oh,
Right?
speaking of other details, the narrator, the host, keeps saying, "Jimmy has lost a life and must start World 2 again," and you can very clearly see on the screen that it says World 1. So
This was made for a world where people were not expected to have it on VCR.
yeah. And
That is
also, he's
funny.
constantly announcing the points, and that's how you can tell that an adult wrote this, because no kid who played Nintendo gave a shit about points. That was a previous generation. Points were for your old man.
Yeah, that's right. I guess that's how they're doing the World Video Game Champion. It's like time limit, and whoever has most points, like, wins at the end
Yeah.
of the thing.
I mean, that is
So
kind of how the actual Nintendo Championships ran. Do you know anything
okay.
about that?
No, I didn't know there was such a thing. To be
That
honest.
happened like a couple of, the year of this and also the year afterward. And what they did was they had a different setup where they had the kids play, well, they had the contestants. The winner was a guy named Thor Ackerlund. He was about 20 years old at the time. And yeah, hell of a name, right? Thor Ackerlund, but
Yeah, for real.
but what they had was they had a 3-in-1 cartridge where the first goal was to play Super Mario Brothers, not Super Mario 3, Super Mario Brothers, and collect 50 coins. Once you had 50 coins, it automatically went from Super Mario Brothers to Rad Racer, and in Rad Racer you had to drive a certain length on the track, and then after you got that far, then it switched to Tetris. And Tetris was where you could build up the big points because it multiplied your previous points. So much like Haley says, it is games that everyone's played before because those were all, huge sellers. So, and one thing that was funny was that Howard Phillips, the Nintendo Fun Club president, had actually figured out a way to get much higher scores than anyone actually scored because he figured out that, most people just went right through the first two and went straight to Tetris because that's where you could get the big points. But he figured out, oh, wait, this has the whole game of Super Mario Brothers. So if I avoid coins, get to World 3, and get to the level where I can get infinite 1-ups, and then I just start putting blocks down in Tetris. I can break the game. But nobody figured that out.
Oh, so that's how he won?
Well, he didn't win. He worked for Nintendo, so he wasn't eligible.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
No, Thor Ackerlund won on doing it the regular way. And,
okay.
And how did he thank Nintendo? By doing commercials for a game company that was not Nintendo approved. Way to go, Thor!
Wow. That's gratitude for you.
Yep.
Man. Okay, but in this movie, yeah, they make this announcement that the real championship is going to be determined by playing a game no one's ever heard of before.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about heard of because at this point everyone knew there was going to be a Mario 3, but ostensibly no one had played it except that. Okay, here's where that Play Choice 10 thing comes up. Yeah, Nintendo had something called Play Choice 10 that lets you play a whole bunch of hot Nintendo games in the arcade. I went to see this at College Grove in San Diego, and right across from the theater was an arcade. In the arcade was the Play Choice 10, and on the Play Choice 10 they had Super Mario 3. So I'd already gotten further than Jimmy has in this movie.
You should have entered the World Video Game Championships then.
I know. I just couldn't get a trucker to drive me to Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, that's that's a real problem, you know.
I mean, I found one, but he was just driving so erratically, I didn't feel like it was safe.
Well, so yeah, that's luckily, even though Haley is pretty upset about the fact that it's a game that Jimmy hasn't had chance to memorize.
Yes.
They still
It's actually
win.
extremely fair to make everyone play a game that no one has played before.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, they've kind of been cheating.
Yeah. I guess.
But
I don't know. Is it cheating to study?
Nowadays, I feel like it's like
AI, win this game for me.
Yeah, I mean, I came up in furry fandom where everyone's like, like actually using artist models is cheating. So, I could kind of see the ideas like actually studying a video game to win it is cheating. But yeah, no, I guess once the playing field is leveled, Jimmy still wins. He beats Lucas. He beats Mara pretty
handily. Yeah, she's like, no, what did you expect, really?
Yeah, and she's just a girl. But I do like the expression she makes because she's she's really selling how much she hates herself for losing. And he beats Lucas too, and I think what we don't really get
there's no here's what happened to Lucas afterward. He just sort of crosses his arms. Both he and Maura are making that expression that figure skater did, where she was just standing on the podium with her mouth in a tight line and her arms crossed. The one that made her kind of a brief celebrity, and she got to do the pose again with Obama doing it right next to her.
Oh yeah. You kind of expect that there's a bit where Lucas would fall into a vat of manure or something, but no, nothing like that happens.
No. The real punishment is that his actor grew up to be a sex offender.
But, really? Ooh,
yeah,
geez.
Unfortunately.
Problematic. Ooh. Well, what a jerk. He's he does have strong sex offender energy. So.
Yeah. I mean, not going to say that you can judge a book by its cover, but I mean, you can't be a villain in a movie like this if you don't have sex offender energy. He really, he feels like that guy from UHF who was like, broads don't belong in broadcasting.
Was that guy a sex offender in real life too?
Not to my knowledge. I hope not.
Oh, okay.
That'd be incredible coincidence. Yeah.
Though we do see that Lucas does have apparently a celebrity in his goon patrol.
Yeah.
Because this movie stars a young Tobey Maguire as one of his silent goons.
Yeah. Basically the little dog from Looney Tunes is like, yeah, Lucas, yeah.
Yeah, does he actually have any lines, or is
I'm
he
not
just
sure if he has
there?
any lines.
Because he's got a couple of lackeys, but I really can't tell them apart.
It's kind of like how what's his name? Frodo, how he first appeared in Back to the Future 2.
Frodo? Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? He was in the arcade, wasn't he?
Yeah, always with video games with these young actors.
I mean, I guess kids in their video games.
Yeah.
Man,
hey, I'm 12 years old and I love those damn video games.
How else am I going to get those video games I'm always talking about? Anyway, so what else happens?
Well, I mean, I guess we don't actually get any kind of resolution where they're like, clearly you're not a certifiable lunatic, Jimmy. You're going to come home with us. Where they're like, this pig's going to live to a ripe old age.
Yeah, it's kind of just because I know that Haley had been kind of selling this video game contest as if they get to $50,000, then his parents will realize that he's useful and they won't put him in a home. They can instead use him. I don't know, kind of use him as like a fighting cock and just have him always enter him in video game contests. I
Yeah,
guess.
this movie is basically like that Far Side cartoon about hopeful parents.
Yeah.
They got their wish too.
they did. So this one is but the movie does in the very last like 2 minutes of the movie that it remembers, oh wait, there's some things we need to tie up. There's some loose ends. For example, why was Jimmy always trying to get to California? Well, luckily, driving back from Los Angeles to Utah, they pass by the Cabazon dinosaurs, as you would, I guess.
Maybe.
No.
I have never passed the Cabazon dinosaurs myself. I don't know which way you have to go.
I don't think you would pass them. The Cabazon dinosaurs really loom outsized, I think, in the Hollywood imagination.
Yeah.
Because I mean they're much cooler in concept than they are in reality. Because
I think they're smaller in real life than they look.
Oh, yes. I've been there. They are way smaller. You know that bit in Pee-wee's Big Adventure where he's sitting with Dottie on a couch in the head of the Tyrannosaurus?
Uh-huh.
You could not... A single person barely fits in the head. Like, you have to crawl in there, and you can kind of look out, but, like, there's no room. It's tiny. I will say this one was this movie, The Wizard, was accurate because the Brontosaurus does have a gift shop inside it.
Oh, okay.
But when I went, which was a few years ago, it's very weird because like they were originally kind of a roadside attraction. Well, what do you know of the Cabazon dinosaurs, Ethan?
Well, I mean, I know that they were in this movie and Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I know that for a while they were owned by like a creation science museum, and there was a bunch of stuff about Jesus inside the Brontosaurus.
Yep.
And I know that after Paul Rubens' death a few years ago, they repainted the Tyrannosaur to put Pee-wee's suit on it in homage to him, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you know the basics. You know the important things about the Cabazon dinosaurs. That's basically it. Now, when I went, it was. I remember, like, they got the Tyrannosaurus, which I said you can kind of crawl in the head, and the Brontosaurus has a gift shop in it. At that point, it was no longer owned by the Fundies, but the new owners had kept all the merchandise. But while still new merchandise that they put in was pretty standard dinosaur stuff. So, like, it was this weird mix of you could buy, like, books that were all about, like, the evolution of the dinosaurs, and then right next to it there'd be a big poster of the Cabazon dinosaurs saying like created, not evolved. And it was just like, what?
Teach the controversy, huh?
Yeah, getting some real mixed messages. But they actually have supplemented the two original Cabazon dinosaurs with a whole kind of dinosaur. I guess what you would call this. Is an animatronic graveyard, because know how if you ever been to like a county fair, they'll have those like kind of traveling exhibits of animatronic dinosaurs. Sometimes. Yeah. So yes. So if you go behind the Cabazon dinosaurs, there's this whole place where they basically have all these rotted out dinosaur robots, and little plaques give with dinosaur facts, so you can wander around and just look at all these old. Dinotronics,
That sounds super cool.
It's interesting. I mean, it's a very it's a little surreal, but it's that's the Cabazon dinosaurs. They don't talk about that bit very much, but in The Wizard, they are driving past the Cabazon dinosaurs. Jimmy insists they stop, so they stop, and he runs into the Brontosaurus, which is unmanned. There's no one in the gift shop, no one running the show. It's just empty. And it turns out that lunchbox he's been carrying he's got a photo of the family. I guess they visited the Cabazon dinosaurs before his sister's death. And so in order to get closure on his sister's death, he wants to put the photo of them in the brontosaurus.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I guess this cures his nonverbal autism.
Except that, he doesn't talk any more than he did before, so this is just something that he really felt like he needed to do.
Yeah, so it's really but I guess the movie is like, the movie's kind of doing that thing where it's like, this problem has not really been solved, but you, the audience, kind of feel like it has been. That's good enough. So don't think about it too much. The mom does kind of say, like, why don't you, Bo Bridges, take all our boys home and we'll talk later. And that kind of implies, I think, that she's like, you know what? Me and my asshole new husband are unfit parents. You should take the kids.
Yeah.
That's really what I feel like they're saying. So I feel like, so that I guess solves that problem. Without getting, I was kind of wondering, like, I thought, like, oh, is Bo and the wife going to get back together? Because I kind of feel like the movie felt like it was trying to go in that route, but then it ran out of time because it spent too much time with desert travel montages.
I feel like that's one of those things where they're like, hey, don't give kids false hope like that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. True. And also, Haley, they're driving with Haley back to Utah, I guess. So I'm not sure if they're adopting her as well. Again, not really clear what's going on. This is.
Yeah. Have they even met Haley at this point?
Yeah, that's true. They see her for the first time after the World Video Game Championship. And so there's then the movie ends. Oh, I do like though when Jimmy wins the championship, even the bounty hunter gets into it. He's like he's really jazzed.
He's like, yeah, that's my bounty.
I thought that was kind of funny. That was kind of cute. But anyway, they go home to Utah, and that's it. The problem solved. Everything's good, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the important thing is we saw some video games.
Yeah, but not nearly enough. Come on.
I mean, I guess
and they showed most of the same games over and over again. It's like, okay, here's Super Mario 2. Here's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Here's Rad Racer. Here's Super Mario 2 again. Here's Ninja Turtles again. Here's Rad Racer. Oh shit, is that Mega Man 2? Just for a few seconds. And it's it's the beginning of the Airman stage, which everyone has already seen because they tell you to take that one to the first in the instruction booklet. I guess not everyone reads the instruction booklet, but and they talk about Simon's Quest, but we never see anything about it, which is understandable because Simon's Quest is a very difficult game to get involved in. There's a couple of arcade games that I thought they had made up for this movie, but it turns out they're real. F1 Dream.
Never heard of that one.
And something like Chinagate. Which,
that sounds kind of racist.
It does, kind of, but no, it's understand that in Japan they hate China, but they hate the Chinese, but they love China.
Oh yeah, America has a relationship with a number of different countries.
Yes, much like how Koreans hate the Japanese, but they love Japan.
Yeah. Oh, Asia. They're always fighting over there. Always
not like us.
No. It's it's so funny that Asians they all hate each other, and it's funny because I don't know how they tell each other apart. Whackity schmackity do. That's a 1989 joke for you.
Yeah,
very much so because that's very racist to say. And I would never say that, except ironically as a 1989 joke. Don't cancel me. Oh no.
Well,
the wokes are gonna get me now.
I can't help but think of the American English teacher who was living in Tokyo. Who was a black man, and to Japanese people, black people only appear in movies. So a lot of people are like, "Are you Will Smith?"
He should have said, "Yeah."
They could, and they just know one. If they knew a black celebrity, they'd be like, "Oh my God, are you Al Roker?"
I feel like you could have a lot of fun with that, though.
Yes.
Like are they used to seeing like white people? I mean, I'm sure there are probably enough weeaboo tourists go over there that
Oh
they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
they don't think
And
of every white person is like a celebrity.
I think that was in what's it called in Dave Barry's Visit Japan, where a little Japanese kid looked up at him and was like, "Ah, gaijin!" and ran away. He was more frightened of me than he was of the giant statue of Godzilla right behind me.
I mean, I remember reading that book.
It is a classic.
Yeah.
The dog smiled when the bird smiled when the dog ate the policeman or the politician. But a policeman would be good to eat too, I'm sure.
Yeah. I just remember that like the chapter in Hiroshima wasn't nearly as funny as I was expecting. I was like, wow, Dave Barry, you really didn't understand this assignment. What's up with that?
I mean, I don't know how you make jokes about Hiroshima apart from just being like, what's up with Hiroshima style okonomiyaki? It's totally different from Tokyo style.
Wait, they have a different style of teppanyaki?
Yeah, okonomiyaki. The Tokyo version, which is the version I made when I visited you that one time, is all mixed together. Whereas Hiroshima style is made in layers, so it's almost kind of like a I don't know, I'm not sure how to describe it. More like a pizza.
Oh, interesting. I mean, the version you made is pretty good.
No, thank you. I do like making it. And it's super easy. It's basically cabbage and pancake mix with meat. But shoot.
I mean, it doesn't sound good. It does not sound good when you describe it like that. But it was very good. Anyway, The Wizard. So I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So, I mean, did it sell you on Super Mario 3? That's the important thing.
I mean, probably, again, if I saw this when I was 10, I'm sure that it would have, but that would have been an easy sell. As an adult, I'm just kind of like, oh, yeah, they played they played a different game. I guess that was a game they didn't know.
I mean, and as a someone who lived and breathed Nintendo in 1989, I was like, "That's it? You just show the first level of Super Mario 3? Don't you have any like deep cuts for the fans?" I guess they thought mentioning Castlevania 2: Simon's Quest was a deep cut.
Yeah. So when you first saw this movie, like, was that kind of your reaction to that, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I was just sort of like, this. I was like, this. There's not nearly enough video game stuff in it, and you know what's funny? I just watched this with my mother, who I don't know how much I've talked about this on the podcast, but last year my mother had a real health crisis that led to her being in the hospital for 72 days. She is still recovering, but the recovery is making her better than when she was, before she entered the hospital. And she is starting to regain some of her mental capacity that was kind of being lost to brain fog before this. And so I watched this with my mom, and over dinner she said, I keep thinking about that movie. And I was like, really? Because this is the first time in quite some time that she's been able to follow something with a narrative. Mostly she just watches news because it kind of flashes by. And so, and that made me remember that when she saw it with me, she really liked it, which is really funny. So I feel like they kind of, they aimed for the kids and got the parents with this one. I feel like this is something that, parents would see more of themselves in these parents than the kids see of themselves in these kids.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, I guess being a parent is you're always dealing with difficult kids who don't appreciate your casserole, and So yeah. I mean, I think this is a movie from a time when they still made family movies. So you get the whole family.
There's like one swear word. At one point, Bo Bridges goes, "Shit," and that's it.
Yeah, again, that's one of those things where they stick it in. They got to put a little thing in to make it adult. Yeah,
so that your parents will come in with you and see all the new games.
Yeah. Um, so how did you feel watching it as an adult? Do you still enjoy it as much, or?
I mean, again, I really do enjoy the Rift Tracks version. I think that is the best way to watch it. But at the same time, even if you don't have that, there is enough that it will in fact entertain you, and it is a really interesting slice of video game culture of the day.
Yeah. I feel like if you are a today's parent who has a kid who likes video games, this might be a good one to watch with your kids, just to show like this is what video games were like when I was a kid. And that may or may not interest them, but I think it
Yeah,
would at very least be like it. I feel like even if your kids are kind of like yeah, whatever. These are dinosaur games. The idea that your parent was into a thing that you are into is kind of neat, I
yeah.
guess. I feel like because there's not a lot of stuff like that. I remember like years ago, I was talking. I was because a new Pokemon game had come out, and I remember talking to a coworker and being like, "It's kind of interesting how Pokemon has been this perennial thing to the point where now like their kids playing it, and their parents were kids who played it when it first came out. It's this like thing that kind of almost might unite generations." And he said to me, like, I can think of one other thing that does that. And I was like, really? What? And he's like, hunting. And I'm like, okay. I
Okay, boomer.
was like, I guess. But I mean,
Oh,
but
did
I
they
was like,
bring out a new hunting every year?
I was like very confused because I was like, well, if you're getting to that point, you could say any sport. In fact, any activity. Hey, I go walking, my kids walk. Hey, we're exactly the same. But I feel like, Pokemon
Go
is a
to bed, old
specific thing.
man.
Yeah, I was like, come on. Also, it's like kids and adults can equally enjoy hunting. I don't, you give a gun to your kid? Well, okay. I guess you do. Kind of weird, I think. This guy was a goober. He was
Oh my
like
god.
he didn't even have a kid.
Well, what was he? Like a juvenile bounty hunter?
He did have a bolo tie, so